Hi there, my name is Purita. I'm a menstrual cycle coach and yoga teacher based in Brisbane, Australia. In today's video, I will share with you some actionable tips on how you can cycle sync your life, and we'll go through the 4 phases of your cycle, and I will give you 3 tips for each phase of the cycle. We'll get started by just familiarizing ourselves with those 4 phases of the cycle. And if you're new to cycle awareness, what I recommend that you get started with is getting your free cycle awareness guide. I have a link below this video, so just click on that link and download your free guide. Go through that and just see if that resonates with you. So that guide goes through the energetic and hormonal cycle, so you understand the differences and you understand the different phases a little bit deeper. So let's get started. The first phase of your cycle is the inner winter or menstruation phase. So this is the time when you're bleeding. The second phase is inner spring or the follicular phase of your cycle. So the time just at the end and after your period leading up to ovulation. And this is the time when your estrogen levels are rising. The third phase is the ovulation or summer phase of your cycle, so around your ovulation. And the fourth phase of your cycle is the autumn phase, so the inner autumn or your luteal phase of the cycle. And this is when your progesterone levels are rising. So progesterone will be the dominant hormone in this phase of your cycle. And if you struggle with PMS or PMDD, this is most likely the time of the month when you experience that. So my 3 tips for the winter phase of your cycle are to rest, reflect, and skip any strenuous workouts. So rest might look like taking a full day off from work or even 2 days, or maybe that's just some moments of stillness and moments of rest during your days. So maybe that looks like taking a nap in the middle of the day or doing a longer yoga nidra or yin or restorative yoga, something that really helps you to switch off and unwind. In the winter phase, our intuition is usually a little bit stronger, so this is perfect time for reflecting on the past cycle and the future cycle, what works, what doesn't, and so on. And this reflection can be done on anything in your life, your relationships, how you see yourself, what's working in your self-care, what's working in your business or your job, and so on. I also recommend skipping any strenuous high-intensity workouts in this phase of your cycle to reduce stress, allow your body to rest, and to restore energy for the rest of the cycle. Towards the end of your period and after your period leading up to ovulation in the inner spring or follicular phase of your cycle, when your estrogen levels are rising, I recommend setting goals, getting organized with your tasks, and doing some more intense workouts. So the inner spring is perfect for really getting clear on what you want to achieve in this particular cycle and the future cycles. So really setting some realistic goals and being clear on what they will be. And then once you've set those goals, you want to break those goals down into smaller goals. So for example, one bigger goal, break that down into 3 smaller goals, and then again those 3 smaller goals, break those down into daily tasks that you can do during this cycle, and only allocate about 1 to 3 daily tasks for yourself to avoid overwhelm, to avoid burnout, and to stay organized. When your estrogen levels are rising and when the estrogen is the dominant hormone in the follicular phase, your body will actually build muscle more easily and will also burn fat more easily. So this is why this inner spring phase of your cycle is perfect for those more intense workouts. In the Cycle Conscious Collective, I love teaching some stronger vinyasa classes in the spring phase, and I also love incorporating lots of twists into those classes because twists tend to help our digestive system to get a little bit of a boost and detoxify our body. The third phase, so the summer phase or ovulation phase of your cycle, can show up a little bit differently for different women. Maybe this is the time when you feel a little drop in the energy levels, or maybe this is the time when you feel super energetic, attractive, and confident. If you do feel more extroverted than usual, I definitely recommend taking advantage of that. So what I usually do in the summer phase of my cycle is that I try to schedule, for example, interviews or a meeting to this phase of the cycle. I take action on the goals that I set in the spring phase, and I love to listen to my body when it comes to working out. So maybe that's more intense or high intensity workouts, maybe that's low impact cardio workouts, or bodyweight training. So really tuning in, because that phase can also show up a little bit differently in each phase of the cycle. So taking action on the goals, but also remembering that we don't only follow the menstrual cycle, we also follow the 24-hour sleep-wake rhythm. So in the summer phase, when you're taking action on the goals that you set in the spring phase, you also want to be mindful of the sleep-wake rhythm. And when you're awake, in the mornings you might feel a little bit more creative, and then during the day you might feel a little bit more energetic, so perfect time for working. And then towards the evening, allow yourself a little bit more space to unwind so that you don't burn yourself out or push yourself a little bit too much, so you still have these moments of stillness and rest in your days. And when we move to the final phase, the luteal or the inner autumn phase of the cycle, my 3 tips would be actively to reduce stress, slowing down, and getting really organized. So the inner autumn phase is the time where you may experience some PMS symptoms. So remembering that PMS has been normalized in our society, so even though it's common, it doesn't actually mean that it's normal. And PMS is very often our body's way of telling us that it's time to slow down, that we're being a little bit too hard on ourselves or going a little bit too fast. So slowing down might look a little bit different for different people, so just really reflect and get clear on what that looks for you. Maybe that's having a couple of more extra hours a day of downtime. Maybe that looks like having an extra day off. Maybe that looks like doing a longer meditation every day during the day. So just getting really clear on what works for you. And when we talk about reducing stress, we're talking about work-related stress, and we're talking about all the different stressors in our lives. So that can be, for example, diet, caffeine, which increases cortisol levels. It can be all the different toxics that we get through skincare products, for example. So really trying to be as natural as you can when it comes to any cleaning or skincare products. Eating healthy food, so staying clear from fast foods, for example, eating clean food and eating enough. You also want to avoid over-exercising, because that's a stressor for your body. So the luteal phase is actually better for bodyweight training or low-impact cardio training. So skip those high-intensity interval trainings, for example. And when it comes to yoga, I love teaching very embodied slow flows in this phase of the cycle. The autumn phase is also perfect for getting organized. And when it comes to organizing, again, get clear on what that looks like for you. So maybe that's clearing mental clutter, maybe that's clearing physical clutter in your life, maybe that's organizing your work or finishing old projects. Maybe that's cleaning up your wardrobe, whatever that is for you, and it can look different in the different cycles. So those are my 3 tips for each of the 4 phases of your cycle. If you do have any questions at all, please leave a comment below. I would love to answer any questions you might have. And again, if you want to learn more about cycle awareness and you haven't got your free cycle awareness guide yet, just click on the link below and get yours today. Thank you so much. Namaste.